Hello, everyone. My name is Chloe. I am the marketing manager at Faria Education Group. Shikar, can you go to the next slide, please? Yeah, so before we kick things off, I would like to remind every one of you that all cameras are off and microphones are muted. So this session will be recorded, so you can always revisit if needed. If you have any technical issues, just feel free to use the chat box. But if you have any questions for our presenters, can you see the Q&A icon at the bottom? Please submit them during the session using the Q&A box. So we will address them during the Q&A session. So, yep. And yeah, I am currently joining you from Taiwan, and we are lucky to have some great AI assessment experts with us today, which is truly exciting. While more people are joining us, we will continue to learn about your locations, okay?
Okay, so now let's get started with two incredible experts. Allow me to introduce them to you. So we have Shikar Shetty and Karen Gupta with us today, who are the co-founders of Access Prep, a platform designed to facilitate schools' transition from pen and paper to the next generation of digital assessment. So launched in 2016 with the aim of streamlining assessment and enhancing learning outcomes, Access Prep has since grown to serve more than 500 international schools and establish its presence in more than 75 countries worldwide. So Management has been very, very lucky to be partnering with them since 2017. Yeah, so what we wanted to do right now is to find out quickly more about you to better understand our audience. We would like to launch a quick poll. Yep, there you go. Could you please just click on the answers? We would like to find out more about you. This will help Shikar to tailor his presentation to your needs. This poll is now active. We are eager to know your answers. Yep. Okay. So we have most of our attendees are DP educators. Others, we have 10% others. Okay. Okay, I think most of the attendees here have already answered the questions. I'll wait for another 10 seconds. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I think we can conclude from this that we have got some MYP teachers here, but 60% of us are from, the majority are actually the DP teachers. So we would also like to understand more about your current challenges and which aspect of the assessment process do you find most challenging or time consuming. Okay, let me launch the next poll here. I'm really curious to find out what your answers are. Okay, most of the teachers find prompt and individualized feedback to students is the most challenging part so far. Let's wait for another 10 seconds. Okay, so almost half of the teachers find that providing prompt and individualized feedback to students is the most difficult part. And then the second choice would be creating diverse and engaging questions aligned to curriculum standards. Okay, so Shikar will definitely answer your questions later. Okay, so yep, over to you, Shikar.
Thank you so much, Chloe. Welcome, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening. We have a very international audience here. I hope everybody can hear me clearly, and if you can't, please just ping us on the chat and we'll adjust. It was great to know your opinion on those questions because they really help us and make sure we're working in the right areas and we're able to, really add value. My name is Shikhar. We have Karan as well on this webinar with us. We, as Chloe mentioned, have been working in the IB space for the last 7 years with a lot of MYP and DP schools, helping educators deliver better assessments more efficiently, improving learning outcomes in their classrooms. We've partnered with ManageBack for a long time as well to have a great integration with them that helps schools complete, the systems that they have. So we're going to just jump into a little bit about Assess Prep first, before getting into the main theme. For those of you who haven't heard of Assess Prep yet, or have but would like to get a recap, Assess Prep is essentially an end-to-end platform for all your assessment needs. Whether you're an MYP school or a DP school, or even any other program that you run, Assess Prep lets you author really advanced assessments, whether it's simple essay types or interactive questions that an MYP assessment might require, and deliver them with all your students or all your classes or a few of them if you want to differentiate, monitor the assessments in real time, and grade them when the submissions come back in. So it helps schools transition from this paper-based system completely online, including the library of questions that we provide for MYP and DP. This makes it a very, very smooth experience for educators. Over the last 7 years, we've now reached 500 schools that we work with, over 2 million submissions that have come across on the platform, and so many resources that are being created. I think we'll have probably the largest MYP library anywhere out there. Just going over the different aspects of Assess Prep. Essentially, as I mentioned, you can create interactive assessments on the platform. We have over 15 question types and multiple content types, so you can insert PDFs, videos, images, simulations, or question types like long answer, multiple choice, and other classification, drag and drop based or graphing based questions that students can respond to. You can deliver this assessment either online through any browser, through our lockdown application, which inhibits cheating and is very good for high stakes assessments, MYP or DP again. Or you can even deliver it on paper. So if you want to just build your assessment and just print it out on paper, hand it to the students and they can take it on paper, submit it back online, and you can still have all the submissions in one place. Once the students do submit their assessments, you can grade them on the platform. Most of the questions get auto-marked, like the MCQs and all the different interactive questions. And on the long answer questions, you can even annotate, or even in the handwritten answers, you can annotate on the answers, give them feedback, assign points. And grading is really fast on the platform as well. On both ends. So if you're a ManageBack school, we have a very good integration with them that lets your entire school be onboarded in like no time. So you press one button, it syncs all the users and classes onto Assess Prep. They stay in sync, so you don't have to manage another platform. You can also use the login with ManageBack option, which lets your users not have any other credentials to remember. And on the task integration, if you link a ManageBack task to an Assess Prep assessment, the grades can go back into the ManageBack gradebook. And that really completes the cycle for any school that already uses ManageBack. On this note, I would also mention that if your school does not use ManageBack, you can still use Assess Prep independently completely. Your users will be onboarded in bulk upload format, and your grades can still be exported if you wish to for any other platform. At this point, I think before we enter the main theme of this webinar, which is, of course, the AI assistant that we're announcing and showing today, Chloe, would you mind asking the next polling question here? So I guess we just want to gauge here, how frequently have you been incorporating or using generative AI in your teaching and assessments? At all the IB conferences we've been going, all the users, all the teachers we've been talking to, and the customers that we have, we realize that there's a wide range of people out there based on where they are. Some have tried it, some are using it every day, some are using it frequently. So we just want to gauge where you are, and we'll then jump into what we've built. Show you how does it look.
Most of the teachers, half of them use it occasionally, more than 50%. And never used it before has 30%.
Okay, awesome. This is great. So we're gonna, okay, this is great. I think we can close the poll quickly. I think we're gonna go into the areas that so basically our thought process behind the assistant obviously was that educators use AssessPrep every day to create, deliver, and grade assessments. What are the areas where most of the time goes in? And we realized, as you saw in the earlier poll as well, it's in authoring questions and providing feedback, essentially authoring assessments and grading. So those are the two main areas we focused on, and of course, 2 or 3 others. So we're going to go through all of them one by one, and I'll show you how it works. The overall theme of the assistant in general, we've tried to highlight it with this purple magic button everywhere. So on the platform, look for the purple magic button. That's where the assistant is. And we've tried to make it contextual in the sense that it's available across the platform, seamlessly available wherever you might need it. So if you go into author questions, you're going to see a button there which says generate with AI. If you're going to go into grading, you'll see a button there which says grade with AI. So let's look at authoring questions first. So the first thing we look at is how we can generate high quality questions contextual to what you want based on these parameters, whether they're IB or DB. So I'm going to jump out onto the platform. I lose controls for a second. Okay, so I'm in a diploma test right now, where I'm in the Create tab, which is the tab where you can author questions and content. Typically, you would go into this Add button, go into Content, go into Questions to see, what questions can I add. I can also add questions from the library, which is a huge library that is available on AssessPrep for MYP and for DP. But this is a new option that we have now, which is Generate with AI. So you can now generate questions from thin air that are pretty high quality. So by default, we add obviously the context of this assessment into this frame already. So you're generating a question, which is a diploma question for the biology subject for grade 12. Now here I can choose what type of question do I want to create. I can create a long answer question where the students have to write something, or I can create a multiple choice question as well. So let's say I go into that. Here I can choose a syllabus topic. So which topic do I want to create it on? Let's say I want to do a membrane structure. Maybe I choose a difficulty level, and moderate. I can make it a paper 1 question, and let's say it's for SMHL. Let me also put how many points it's for, so it tailors the question accordingly. Once I'm happy with that, I click on generate. Now, as I mentioned, these parameters on the left side are based on certain curricula. So if this is DP, we're trying to put those in. If it's MYP, we're going to put those in. The criteria, strands, we'll see that later. But even if it's not MYP or DP and any other curricula, you could still create questions by even adding a lot of additional instructions or additional context here. Now, because we also generate a few question options, this sometimes can take a little bit of time. But you'll see when it's generated that they're pretty good quality. So it's generated 3 questions here for us, which are multiple choice. One of them is like, which of the following accurately describes the fluid mosaic model of a cell membrane, right? With the correct answer already selected. So if I like any of these questions, all I have to do is press the Add button. Moreover, I don't actually have to use this button. So the question is already added immediately here. But if I want to modify it and tweak it, I can just go and click on Edit and change whatever I like. I can add some more content to it. I can add some more context to it. And if I'm happy, I'll save it. It's that easy. Let's say I want to generate another question. This time, maybe I add some additional context to it. Let's say I want to make this more specific to cholesterol. And this additional context is so powerful. because this really helps you contextualize based on where you want the question to go into, like what direction you want, what topic you want, what particular case you want. Again, as I said, because we generate 3 or more questions sometimes, it can take a little bit of time, but the quality you get is worth the wait, essentially. So again, here now all the questions you see are more or less addressing cholesterol in some way. So what is the primary role of cholesterol in the plasma membrane of the animals? So let's say I want to use this question. I can add it there, and I can see that it's right here. And all the syllabus topics, difficulty levels, and teaching levels that are selected while generating, they get automatically tagged for this question. If I want to see what it looks like to the student, I can just click on preview, and these questions are ready to use. So that's the first aspect where Assistant is available for you to be able to generate any kind of question with AI. Let me go back to the next one. The next area where we thought authoring questions would be very useful if you could author questions based on something. In many cases, especially in the MYP, questions are based on a source. It's either some sort of text or some sort of a video even. So let's look at how this works. So here I am in an MYP test. In the first section here, apologies. In the first section here, I have a text source already added, which is on climate change. And now you'll see the contextual assistant available. If you look at the purple button with the 1 in there, which says generate questions from this text. Now, again, this is contextually available on any text piece that you might have added. When I click on this button, it adds that text to the context. So this is this is a middle years program. It's the integrated humanities subject for grade 5. And here it's put in the text that is the source. And here I can now choose to create a question, which let's say is long answer. Let's say I choose criteria A. I'm going to put 2 points. I don't want to see right now. I'll do the next one. Let's say I choose strand A1. The topic I choose is sustainable management of urban systems. And I'll do a create command term. And let's say I do generate. I probably should have chosen a different one for criteria A, so I might do this again for a second. We'll let it create it. Let me choose state here, actually. So here I'm generating long answer questions where students are expected to type out an answer. But here it's generating questions saying, state how climate change is influencing water-induced migration according to source A. Or based on source A, state the complexities regarding water scarcity in a conflicted area. So it's very interesting that the questions it can generate based on these sources or the context that we can provide. And again, if I like a question, I can just click on the add button and it adds the question right here. Again, as I mentioned, it would tag the syllabus topic, the command term, and the strand automatically. As I mentioned, if you want to modify this question, you're happy to customize. Just click on edit and add anything you want. So these questions with AI, they really help you, I guess, ideate faster, get good ideas of what questions can I ask. They may not be perfect on their own, and you can obviously modify them. So you're in control as to what you finally produce. Similarly, just like we created these questions based on a text source, we can also generate questions based on a video source. So let's take this example. This one is a TEDx video on climate change, again, causing migration, or the question rather. So if I want to create questions based on this, again, you'll see a purple 1 button next to the video. It's saying generate questions based on this video. If I click on that, it adds the video to the context. And I can do the same thing. So let's say I still want a long answer question. And I choose criteria B this time. and I make it an 8-point question. And I choose B2 and B4 with the same topic as last time. But this time I changed the command term to create, and I say generate. Now, we've also worked with a lot of authors, and obviously we have a lot of educators creating content on assessment for their own assessments. And we're able to see, that the assistant that we have is able to create questions that are almost at par with the teachers who we've worked with. So here, if you see, it says, okay, create an action plan outlining how you would investigate the impact of consumption patterns in Europe and global north. The plan should include a research question, methods of data collection, anticipated challenges, and potential solutions. Now, I'm sure you'll be the best judge for deciding whether this is a good question or not, right? And again, this will give you good ideas, even if it's not the perfect question. So, but if you do end up liking something, again, it's very easy. You just click on add. And maybe I want to add this one as well. So I add both of them. I can go back here, and both these questions are here now. Again, as I mentioned, you can click on edit and modify the question as you want. So that's how you generate questions based on a source. Again, as I mentioned, it could be a text source or it could be a video source. The next one we look at is creating questions that are similar to other questions. So let's say you already have questions, that you really like, and they're your questions. You've already put them on the platform, or the AI has even generated some questions that you like, and you want to generate similar questions to that. Let's have a look at how that works. So, to get out of this. Sorry. Right, so let's look at similar questions. I'm going to, let's say, this math DP test. And here I have a question on a triangle, which has two sides, and you're being asked the value of cos A. It's already tagged to a bunch of syllabus topics, which teaching level, which difficulty level already. But now, next to each question, you also see this purple assistant button, which says generate similar questions. Again, if I click on that, you get the similar assistant create questions interface. It picks in the same context. So it's a math ANA question. It's a syllabus topic selected, the difficulty levels, everything else. And I can go in and choose just a paper tag quickly and put in, not change anything else because I like this question. And I say generate. Obviously, you're going to think about, what subjects can it do? And that's why we're trying to show a little bit of variety here. We're trying to show biology, we're trying to show integrated humanities, we're looking at mathematics. It is able to do a variety of subjects. And yes, the quality can vary based on different subjects, but we realized that these questions are, again, as I said, I think you'll be the final judge. But let's look at the second question. It says give triangle PQR. It's a very similar question asking you sine P instead and different values, right? So assessing the same kind of concept, but gives you more practice questions. And I just included it. And there it is. So it's just, when we first worked on this, our minds were kind of blown, to be honest. I hope yours are too when you actually get to use it. But yeah, that's essentially what we focused on for authoring questions. So you can create questions from scratch based on these parameters. You can add additional context as you need it. You can create questions from any source, text or video, and we're going to add more here very soon. And you can generate questions that are similar to existing questions as well. The next area we looked at was generating solutions. So the way, what you can do in AssessPrep already is that when you generate or create a question manually, you can also add an explanation or a step-by-step solution in a way to that question, which is visible to the student only after you've graded everything, to kind of give them a common explanation or a nice or sample solution in some way, or to explain what to think about in this question. So that can also be generated automatically with the AI. And we'll have a look at how that works as well. So let me go back to a different quiz or assessment this time. I'm going to look at the physics one for MIT. Now here I have a very short passage or text on the electrical energy, and there's a small question on stating how electrical energy is converted into thermal energy and mechanical energy when using a hairdryer. Now, let's say I want to add an explanation or a solution that the students can see later when they've already been graded. I can go and edit, and typically you would include an explanation, and there's an answer box. There's a box here where you would normally type out your explanation or put in an image or something like that. Now there's a purple button again here that you can see. Wherever you see a purple button, you know you can use the assistant there. Here it can auto-generate the explanation for you. So if I just click on it, here you don't need to put any context, no other information. It already has everything. You just click on that button and it starts generating a step-by-step solution or an explanation, depending on what kind of question it is, explaining it to the student when they've actually attempted it after they've been graded as well. There you can see it's explained it pretty well. And if I like it, I can use it. And again, as with everything else, I can easily modify it. You know what? Maybe I didn't particularly like this statement that it added, or I want to change something else. I can just modify it. And if I save it with the question, the explanation is now added to this question. So that's another area. Let's go back. So that was a step-by-step solution or explanation that you can add. You can also generate mark schemes in the same way for the question. The next area we looked at was providing our teachers and educators with a generic chat tool, I guess, to kind of talk to it, ask it anything. I guess something like ChatGPT already does, where you can ask or brainstorm new ideas, ask it to write anything, create anything, learn anything from it. So this is another purple button that you will see everywhere. Anywhere in your assessment, on the bottom left, the purple assistant's always there. If you click on that, it opens a full screen kind of chat window that you can talk to it and you can ask for ideas. You can ask it to write something. So I can even say, okay, maybe I'm looking for a text source of physics or something. I can be like, explain radioactivity in 100 words. And it does that for you. You know, if you want to use that as a part of the text anywhere, you can just click on it anywhere. It gets copied onto your clipboard, and you can just go in and put it in as a text. There you have it. And again, if you start generating text with this, of course, you got to validate whether it's making sense or not. But as we mentioned earlier, based on this text, you can generate questions. So you can go into that flow as well. You can also ask it to, as I said, explain something or write something, but also just maybe give you, again, let's say 10 or pros and cons of nuclear energy. Right? And again, it's great. It's a great learning tool for educators as well to kind of get ideas, use some of this knowledge in your authoring, your assessments, or not. But it's a great tool. It's available for you. So that's included as well. And the next thing, which is the other big area that we thought we could really help with this assistant, is auto-grading. Now, as mentioned earlier, you can already auto-correct all the multiple choice questions, the matching, the classifying, all those true and false kind of questions, right? But what about the long answer or the essay type questions where students either handwrite things or type out their answers? That's where the system comes in. Now, whether you're grading an MYP assessment or a DP assessment, it works for both of them. For the MYP, you can assign a criteria level, achievement level and provide feedback. For the DP, it can assign points to each response and provide feedback, even for handwritten answers, actually. Although I would say that's still in beta, but it's still pretty good. So let's see how that works. So let's have a look at the MRP one. We've got a physics assessment here where there was a particular source on sonar with an image here as well, showing active and passive. And the question, which says a ship using an active sonar systems and blah, 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 calculate the distance of the obstacle which produced the echo from the ship. Now, this already has a submission. So if I go to the grading tab, I can see students already attempted it. This is the question. This is what the student has responded with. Now, there's already an explanation added or a mark scheme added, so I can quickly grade with AI. Again, the purple button here, I click on that, and it's going to give me a suggested, obviously, comments and grading, which absolutely is in your control to use, modify however you want, right? So let's have a look at this. There you go. So it's showing you the student's response here. It's showing that out of 1, I would give it a 0.5. In terms of comments, it's telling me you have a good understanding of how to use the distance formula, but in this case, you forgot the fact that you had to divide it by 2 because the total distance is going to be half of what the final is. So, and even in the student response, we're able to generate like an annotation automatically, kind of showing where the student went wrong. And all this is done automatically. And again, as I said, if you like it, you press use this, and it's going to fill that in automatically. But if you want to modify it and add something to it, just click on the comment again, and I can add something here that I want to do or modify. And save it. So it's totally in your control how you want to use it. But again, it can offer a great service in saving you time and energy, but at the same time providing high quality feedback. And just the way I've shown you in MIP, it works exactly the same in DP as well. So yeah, get back here. So essentially, I'm just going to create a quick recap because I think it's important to know where all it's going in because it could be a lot of places. So we've identified key areas. The primary few areas that we're looking at is authoring questions. So you're able to author questions based on parameters, whether it's MIP or DP or any other program. You're able to generate or author questions based on any source, could be a text or a video. You can author questions that are similar to existing questions. You can also generate solutions for any question that the students can see later. You can use the assistant to generate new ideas, brainstorm, ask it to create anything for you, write anything for you, learn from it as well. You can use it to auto grade long answer and essay type questions, whether it's MIP or DP. It gives you achievement level or point score and individual feedback for each answer. One thing I forgot to mention here, actually, is that there's also going to be a grade all button here. So what you saw there was more like, you want to grade a particular response, you click on it, it gives you a suggestion. You can also click on the grade all button, which would actually, in behind the scenes, because it does take a little bit of time to grade, it would do behind the scenes, grade all your long answer submissions and give them to you as suggestions when you open them. And you can just go ahead and either accept them, use them or not, as you like them. That's pretty cool. And again, the main reason for us to look at these areas was we were like, where can we save teachers' time? They're authoring questions on assess prep every day. They're using the library, but still they want to put in their own questions and they want to get new ideas. So authoring was an obvious choice. Grading, of course, is so important and it takes time. And so where can we assist in that as well? The last area where we looked at was, and I think obviously every educator has, I'm sure, had this issue in the last, in 9 months or 12 months since ChatGPT has been out, but AI detection. So A lot of students, of course, are using these tools to generate homework answers, and things like that. And it's a great tool for learning, I feel, but at the same time, I think educators do want some sort of way to know that students, when they're being told not to use it, they shouldn't be able to use AI. So there is an AI detection tool in all the when a student submit the answer, there's similar to Turnitin that there is a percentage that you get which indicates um, that if this answer was written by AI or not. But I think over the last 10 months or so, this has become a little bit like I feel like it's become more and more futile to race against the AI in some way. That even OpenAI, the company that made GPT, they've deprecated classifier, which is basically the way to indicate whether it was or any text is written by AI or not. So I think it's not. I think this is not a foolproof way of doing it, but it's still one of the factors because it does produce false positives. But at least it's still one of the factors. So we do include it, but we don't tell schools to rely completely on them. And so what we've also done is, I guess, having some sort of a version history. So when the students are attempting their answers on AssessPrep, again, whether it's a browser or the lockdown app, anywhere, their responses, we maintain versions and backups. So you're able to see as a teacher how they built their answer and whether they just copy paste it from somewhere. And of course, if you choose to deliver the assessment in our lockdown application, which is great for mock assessments or even any assessment you want to do where you don't want the student to access any other tool apart from the assessment they're taking, then they can't access ChatGPT or any other AI tools anyway. So we have these, I guess, 3 ways of kind of figuring out or limiting access to AI tools for the students while taking the assessments. Of course, there's the administrators in the school get a very clear AI usage dashboard where they're able to see visibility in terms of usage, in terms of cost, in terms of what they want to enable in their school. So all the different things that you saw, whether it's authoring or solutions or grading, you would be able to kind of choose what you don't want to enable. For example, let's say you do want to let your teachers have authoring, but maybe not grading in some cases. So you can choose to enable one and disable the other. You can also set usage limits, for individual users because you want to have a uniform usage across the board. So we're trying to make it very transparent and more usage focused rather than like an overall, or a generic cost that every teacher has to be accounted for. In terms of course, data policy, we take data privacy very, very seriously. And there's, of course, in whether it's our own AI service and the other third-party LLMs that we use, there's no personal identifiable information that goes anywhere. And there's disclaimers on the system as well for any user also to be cautious when they're sharing the data. So where does the assistant fit into our existing offerings? If you're already there or not, I will just walk through this a little bit. For the IB MYP, we have 2 plans, the standard and the plus. We have the standard and the plus. And for the DP, we have the standard and the passport bundle. So if you're along with Managed Pack, there's a bundle called Passport where AssessPrep is included for the DP. It has a lot of other features, so I would highly encourage any DP school, anybody who's out there today from the DP program to look into the Passport bundle. For NYP, I would highly recommend obviously the Plus bundle, which has a lot of questions in the MYP library, extra features for you, and of course includes this AI assistant that we just saw. So it will be included in the Plus plan and the Passport plan for NYP and DP respectively. What we're also doing is, again, in fair view of transparency and making this as affordable as possible to schools, we're including some credits on the Plus plans. Whoever's already on the Plus plan for AssessPrep or the Passport will already get some welcome credits to be able to use the assistant in all of these ways. And you can purchase extra credits based on your usage. And if you contact us, we'll help you decide, how your school or how many credits would work for your school in a particular year, depending on how much you use AssessPrep. And so this makes it really fair to base it on usage. So if you're using it a lot, you can purchase those amount of credits. If you're not using it that much, you can purchase less credits. And any unused credits would roll over to the next year. So it's not like they're going to expire. So where do we go from here? We've already had a waitlist since we actually announced this in like April, the beginning of this year, and we've been taking feedback from a few power schools, and we already started rolling it out to a few schools. And if you're already signed up for Assess Prep, either as a trial or a customer, I would encourage you at the top of your screen when you log into Assess Prep, you will see an AI Assistant Learn More button, and you'll see a Join Waitlist page. And you can just join that wait list. We're rolling it out to more and more schools every week, so we'll get to you very soon. And if you're a new school that you haven't signed up for Assess Prep yet as a trial or a customer, and you want to try it out, I just want to remind you that we offer world-class support with the help of the management team as well, across the year, across different ways, and you'd be very happy to get started with us. And there's a link available here if you want to get in touch with us to book a demo for Assess Prep, to start your trial. Just reach out to us and we will get you started, and you can try out the AI assistant tools as well. And we're here and we've gone through majority of what we have. Would love to ask you another question here. Chloe, do we want to put in a poll here? As I mentioned, like while we were working on this, we thoroughly enjoyed, trying to figure out what use cases we can work on that would really help teachers, students, schools in however they're, learning and teaching. So much seems possible with this technology, and I think we're still, getting started. But we would love to hear from you what you think about these tools, how you think they would be valuable to you. And this poll may not do justice, but feel free to reach out to us directly, and we're always willing to take feedback and brainstorm with you and talk to you about how we can do more.
Wow, it seems like the auto-generated questions rank first right now, having more than 50%. And then the second one would be auto-grading of student answers with more than 30%. So a big chunk of them.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So because, I mean, I think it was so obvious to us that these two areas were where educators would love to get some assistance, and where assistant can be good as well. It's like just a beautiful intersection. So we're excited to roll this out. We're obviously rolling it out a little slower than we'd like, because we want to just make sure we get things right. But I'm sure if you join the waitlist, get in touch with us. We'll get you started soon. There's another question here on the screen, I think. If you would like to start a trial, I guess this is also for our team to easily reach out to you if you think this is the right tool for you. At this point, I think I'll also just mention that a lot of you have been asking questions, very good questions, in the Q&A box, and Karan has been trying to respond to most of them, and we'll probably address a few of them soon with everybody. Chloe, I think we can do this one.
Yeah, let me share some questions we have collected here.
Do you want to end this poll,
Karen, sorry?
Do you want to end the poll first?
Oh, okay, sorry. Let me do that right now.
No,
okay.
Awesome.
So the first question here is, long answer questions and multiple choice questions are the only type of questions AI can generate?
So very good question. Those are the two we started with because they're the most common ones. But if you look at the other 14 types of questions that we have, we're getting to those very soon. So you will be able to generate matching questions, classification, true and false, fill in the blanks, labeling, so a lot of these questions you will be able to create with AI.
Mm-hmm. And then the second one would be, is it possible to create listening comprehension questions in Spanish, French, Hindi, and German?
Yes, we're working on that as we speak. As I said, creating questions based on any different types of sources. So you can generate questions based on text right now, based on videos right now, but you will be also able to do audios.
Mm-hmm. Are there any future plans to have this software available in other languages?
So even at this point, while we did show you how it can handle different subjects, it can handle different languages as well. So English was obvious, which is why we didn't actually show that here, but it can easily do English, but it can also do French, Spanish, or at least the common, European languages, unfortunately, right now. But I think it's going to get better and better with different languages. So for now, we'll probably release it in like English, Spanish, and French, but it'll get to other languages soon.
Okay. Long answer questions and multiple choices questions are the only types of questions AI can generate. Oh, I'm
I think that
sorry.
sounds like a
Let me
repeat.
go
Yeah,
to
I
the
think you
next
already.
one. Yeah. My school already has access prep in their managed bag. How could we add this AI tool?
Yeah. So if you're an MYP, if you've bought the MYP plan, then if you're on the Plus plan, you will get access to the assistant very soon. Just put yourself on the join wait list, and we'll get to you. If you're on the Assess Prep standard plan, I would heavily recommend you to upgrade to the Plus plan, and then you will be able to get access there. If you're a DP customer, and if you're on the Passport bundle already with ManageBack, then you will get access to the assistant as part of that, the Assess Prep assistant. Management will have their own assistant as well, so that's separate. But that will also be available very soon. So again, just if you're already subscribed to Assess Prep, find that button inside when you log in, just get yourself on the wait list.
Okay. Will this generate questions with subparts? Is there an option to restrict the number of subparts?
Yes, it would. This is obviously quite relevant for DP. I think a lot of the questions do have subparts, and it is able to generate subparts as well. And yes, you will be able to restrict how many.
Okay. Yeah, so I think that's all from okay. I see another questions selected here. Are all these tools on Access Prep automatically available to any school that uses ManageBack or the school that has to pay in order to add it to ManageBack functions?
So let me clarify again the partnership with ManageBack. So ManageBack is a separate product, AssessPrep is a separate product, but we have an integration that helps schools use the best of both products in a way. And so if you already have ManageBack and are paying for ManageBack, to get AssessPrep, it is an extra add-on. It's an extra product that you have to subscribe for. If you get the DP Passport bundle, then it comes included. If you get if you're an MYP school, however, you would get the standard or the plus plan for Assess Prep as a separate add-on to your already managed bank subscription. And if you get Assess Prep Plus, you will get the assistant.
Okay, next question. Will this generate questions similar to the pattern of IBDP? Math AA is different from Math AI. So is this difference considered in the generations of questions?
Correct. Very good question. So we have noticed that it is able to do that, and with the schools that we've been piloting it with, they seem to think that it's doing a decent job. But of course, when we open it up for you, we'd be happy to get your feedback and see if we can, improve it.
Mm-hmm. Would the AI generated questions be flagged by the AI detection tool?
So the AI detection will actually for students responding to any question. It's not for the teachers.
Okay. Are there any IBDP subjects that are not covered in the Access Prep question generator?
I guess again, yeah, I feel we found that like it works well on most of the common subjects that we've seen. So your maths, your sciences, your economics, your business management, psychology, skills and languages. Uh, so it does seem to work in most of these subjects pretty well. Um, but as we said, we're still trying it out in lots of different subjects with the pilot schools, and we're getting mixed feedback on some of them. So some of them will improve over time, but the popular subjects is doing a pretty good job.
Any more questions here? Yeah, I think that's all from our participants. Most of them has already been answered by Karen in the Q&A box. And
Okay.
oh, okay, one last one. Can teachers customize the AI suggestions or modify the questions?
Absolutely. So I think, as I mentioned, in each of those scenarios where you use the assistant, whether it's to generate the questions, whether it's to grade the responses, whether it's to generate the solutions, all of it is customizable and editable by the teacher after they add it or use it. None of it is permanent or fixed. So ultimately, you are deciding what goes into that question, goes into that feedback for the student.
Okay. Another one here. You mentioned MYP and DP, but will there be any support or customization options for the other international curriculums?
Absolutely. So even now, even if you're not doing MYP or DP, you can use it to generate questions or grade for any other curriculum. But yes, it would, as we add more and more curricula in terms of certain specific needs of that, we would obviously update the model.
Hey. Karen, do you think we have any more questions to answer here? When are you planning to release the AI assistant for all customer schools?
Yeah, so I think we're obviously rolling it out gradually to schools that are already on the waitlist. So we have hundreds of schools on the waitlist, and we're releasing it to like maybe 10 schools or less than 10 schools a week now. But the next week onwards, we're going to start to accelerate a bit. So from now till the end of the year, you will see most customer schools having access.
How can they check which plan their school is subscribed to? Because they have subscription to Access Prep, but they have integration with ManageBack.
Yeah, so I think if you're already, for example, a ManageBack customer, you will probably have an account manager with ManageBack or a support representative. You can just reach out to them if you have any confusion about your Access Prep subscription, and if you want to upgrade to the Plus or anything like that. At the same time, if you're logged into your Access Prep account, and if you go to your organization as an admin, and you're able to see what plan you have.
Okay. Is this tool automatically available to any schools that using ManageBack?
I guess we addressed that question a little bit earlier, but I'll repeat that again, that Assess Prep is an additional product that you have to buy on top of ManageBack. And there are different plans that you can choose. But we are integrated with ManageBack in that if you have both products, then they work well together. But it is an additional tool.
Any other selected questions, Karen?
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I think, yeah, we're good. Yep, we still have 1 minute to go. So yeah, we have answered a lot of useful questions. Thank you, Shikhar. Thank you to all the participants who have asked so many great questions. And we would like to have more webinars like this so we can keep you always updated. You can always schedule a demo with us, with ManageBack, with Access Prep, or just email us to know more. And please let us know in the Q&A box what other AI assessment related topics you would like to learn more in the future, and we can always help to organize that. As you all know, like current IB policy emphasizes transparency and encourages educators to acknowledge AI use. So Access Prep is like having a super smart teacher assistant. And if your school is integrated with ManagePack, your Access Prep account is also like automated. So yeah, so I would like to give a very big thank you to Karen and Shikar for sharing their expertise with us. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you very much. Yeah, goodbye.
Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much for joining us.